back to Andrew Luke, part 2.
Moment with a young daughter. So if I'm looking after her, I can be in and out doing stuff, and she comes in, and it's warmer in there because it's got ambient heat from the house. It's fully insulated like a house is, that kind of thing. I've gone for 32 cages. In there, they're all the German Tresper cages, purely for ease of cleaning.
Yeah.
And I know sooner or later, not sooner, but one day I'll be moving house. Hopefully into a bigger garden where I can put a bird room, and I want cages that I'll be able to take with me.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend the money once. These things flat pack. I could get that whole lot in my car if I wanted to.
Yeah.
They clean them down, really easy to clean, hygienic. Yeah, they do cost a bit of amount, but there's plastic cages on the market that are a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
So it's what suits you. We've been in the hobby for years. We've had melamine, we've had wood, we've had all sorts, but we've gone for these, and they're working for us.
Yeah.
I do use the same Trespa nest boxes again. I whack them through the dishwasher between rounds. It's easy, it's clean, save time. I've gone onto an automated water system, so you see the bucket sat on top.
Yeah.
For 30 pairs of birds plus 2 cages for chicks or whatnot. They only drink about not even half a litre a day between the lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's a tiny, tiny amount of water. So I only ever every day I put a litre of water in that. So it's what I do when I'm watering them. You see at the bottom, you see like 3 little pipes going down the floor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. So at the end of each one of those, so each one of those does 8 cages. At the end of one of those is a valve. So every day, literally, I'll put a bucket underneath that valve, open the valve. Any water that's in that bucket above drains out. Then I put fresh water in the top, 1 litre, let a tiny bit come out the bottom, and then close the valve again.
Yeah.
So the birds are getting fresh. The birds are getting fresh water every single day, but I'm doing 32 cages and 2 flights in less than 5 minutes.
Wow.
I would actually argue the water in there coming out of the bottom of that valve after 24 hours is cleaner than what I was getting out of
a Flowmatic drinker.
Yeah, and I was obsessed with. I used to have 2 sets of those. One was always in the sanitizing bucket. Then every 24 hours I switch them over, and I'd still think because I do add chlorine tablets or chlorine powder to this bucket.
Is that just on a flush through?
Yeah, so it's not attached to anything. You can get these and you attach them to your main water supply.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, but if one of these valves leaks in a cage and you're attached to the mains, that carries on leaking until you notice it, which could be, it could come in your bedroom, could be a foot underwater.
Yeah.
But with that litre of water, I know that the worst could happen is a litre of water could come out of a valve.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the birds block the nozzles a cage. I must change, I guess, 2 nozzles a week with the bird.
Yeah.
I know because I've got newspaper on the floor, so I notice it when I'm checking the birds for feed and other things. You notice it before, so I've never come to a cage that's been sopping wet and had a problem.
No, but your chlorine powder and that you put through, is that just as a flush through every day?
No, in the water all the time.
Oh right. Oh okay.
So there's cretinence tablets. They're what a lot of game farmers are out in the middle. In game farms, right in the middle of nowhere, where there's no water supply.
Yeah.
So they have those kind of. You'll have seen them. They're like a 1,000-litre plastic container with like a metal thing around them.
Yeah.
So that's 1,000 litres. So they put 1 tablet per 1,000 litres.
Oh right.
And then they just top it up with water, so they don't even give fresh water. So I use. So I'm quite sad. So I worked out the weight of a I got the weight of a tablet. Crushed it, divided it by 1,000, and that's how many points of a gram I put in a 10-litre bucket.
Right.
That's how sad I am. So I know I'm not overdosing them.
No, no.
And then every now and again, I'll put a lot more of the chlorine tablet in the bucket, and flush the lines.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe once a month or something like that. But to be honest, I've opened up some of these lines and cut them down with a Stanley knife after I'd been running for a month, and there's no slime, no nothing or anything in them.
Wow.
So it I was kind of for about a year I was debating whether to get this system or not.
I know. I think you and I were talking about it at the same time because I think
Yeah,
there was a kit second hand came up on face or one of our selling
yeah,
sites, and I think both of us looked at it and we talked about it offline, but
yeah,
I just didn't do it in the end. But you say, I mean, I only run 20 cages, but it still takes a while, and that two sets of drinkers and all the faffing about that goes with cleaning the
yeah.
bits. But
Yeah.
it is something I
It's
should
just
look
you
at.
know, at the end of the day, as long as you're giving them clean water every day and whatever, it's just me being lazy in it. But do you know
Well,
what I mean?
no,
It's
because
a
I've
quick,
always
a quick
said if
method.
yeah, but I've always said if you make something easier
Mm.
and it fits you and your birds, then you're more likely to do it properly,
Yeah,
aren't you?
yeah,
Like I mean, I do get a bit lazy. If I haven't got time or I can't be bothered, I won't scrub round the bottoms of the drinkers,
yeah,
the fountain part,
yeah,
with a toothbrush, and I'll just chuck them in the thing. And you saying about the sign, and I look at them and think I've got to toothbrush them tonight because there's that bit of residue.
yeah.
You know, so yeah, I might look
Mm.
again at it.
Yeah. The only thing I did with them, a lot of breeders normally put them above the perch. You know, the nozzle
Oh
bit.
yeah,
I put them on the bottom because I thought when chicks come out the nest, they
yeah,
need water. So I thought I'm not going to put drinkers on. I used to put drinkers where those things are when there was chicks
right.
coming out. And I thought if I put a drinker on the floor, then I get the chick used to the drinker, and then a month later when I'm taking it away from the
They
parents,
got to get used to the
I've got to
nozzle.
get used. So I thought I'll
Yeah,
just go for the nozzles on the floor,
yeah,
or
that's
well,
good.
I don't know, 4 inches off the floor, only 5 inches.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's not, it doesn't work for everyone. I would say that the hygiene's got to be top of your
priority.
game. I don't
Yeah,
think you could think I'll just stick water in it and leave it a month and it's watering your birds. I don't think that's
no, no.
gonna work. Because ultimately, if there is the other way of looking at it, your I don't know drinker fountain. If you have 30 of them and you put a problem in, you left too much disinfecting in one of them or something or not rinsed it, you've only affected one pair, haven't you? Whereas if I cock up, I affect 32 pairs.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah, that's
I need,
right.
I need to be on it all the time, which and that's literally. I know a few people that don't drain them as often as I do, but I just do it every day.
Yeah,
While I'm checking the nest, I just stick the bucket underneath, open a valve, walk away, check the next nest, blah blah blah. You hear it when it stops, top it up with water, away I go again.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
it works.
And
Um,
is it just the one bucket you've got with the lines attached, along the top, and then they drop down?
yeah, so
Yeah,
I've got eight cages in a length, and then between every set of two cages
yeah,
and four down is a line popping down. So
yeah,
on some cages the drinkers on the left, and on some it's on the underneath the nest box on the right. If that makes you can see it in the
yeah, yeah,
picture.
yeah,
Because I wanted minimal lines because
yeah.
the more lines there are, the more problem there is for bacteria and stuff to breed.
Mm.
Because also the birds are actually, if you think about the birds drinking from four pair drinking from a line compared to eight pair, in theory eight pair would drink more. So your line's constantly getting
Yeah,
cleaned
yeah,
throughout the day as birds are moving water in effect.
yeah,
And also it's less plumbing, less space for dust because dust obviously gets everywhere.
yeah,
So yeah, that's something I
yeah,
do. I'll move on to the next. We can chat about anything as we're going.
yeah,
That's and there's another bucket on top of the flight. So that bucket, yeah, with 100 with a litre of water in it, I had 50 birds in each of the top and bottom, so 100 birds, not even a litre of water a day. Um, Absolutely brilliant for when you're treating them with something like Ronivit or something like that.
yeah,
Because I was literally putting half a gram of the 20% in a litre of water and doing, so one of those tubs would last me, it'd go out of date before I used it.
yeah,
Whereas when I was using the drinkers, you know what I mean, you put more in, you have to change it every day, and
yeah,
it's since I've been a lot more, yeah, I think I've been a lot more on the medication more as well since I've got it. I do flush the lines through with a lot of clean water before I put any medication in them.
Yeah.
And the same when I'm taking it, when I like on say day 7 of something, if it's the last day of something, I'll then flush the line properly through
Yeah.
to make sure I'm getting everything out. So I do that. I'm quite sad. I've got a calendar of when I've medicated things as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I know
Well,
what.
that's it. That's it. It's the best way, isn't it? There is the instructions are on the tub for a reason, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, so I just mark. My memory is rubbish. So anything
Yeah.
birds, I can remember what they're off. That's not a problem. But when I last did something with the medication or things
Yeah.
like that, I also write down what if I'm treating an ill bird with something, I'll write down the ring number of the bird and what how when it was ill,
Right.
and then I know not to breed off that for quite a while.
Yeah.
So giving it because 1 minute they're ill and a week later they're in the flight chirpy as anything. You think, well, if I was really ill last week, should I be breeding? You know, what I mean, will I be
Yeah.
breeding next week? So it's so
Yeah.
yeah, I do that. Other thing to note, I guess, in this video is at the bottom there's a fan.
Yeah.
So that's taking air out of the bird room or dust out of the air. At the other end of the bird room, behind the radiator, there's another fan bringing the air in. The two fans are identical. They change the air if they're on full power 16 times an hour.
Wow.
So it's always nice in there. That runs from 6 in the morning till 10 at night. Um,
Non-stop, is that?
Non-stop, yeah,
Wow.
all day long. I did have it 24 hours a day, but in the winter, my humidity levels were dropping a lot too much
Yeah.
because it's in a warm room and I'm bringing cold air into the humidity was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I turn it so now it's on a timer, but also it's the fans are controlled by a thermostat which does temperature.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
so if it goes below, I think it's set at 14 now, the fans will go down to 20% of the speed.
Right.
And then when it gets to 16 or 18, they'll be at full speed. Um, it's just where I used to work. They were getting rid of a load, so I thought,
Yeah.
why? So it did. It does. It's a good system. So on a cold day, Dad's got the same thermostat thing in his room. So on a cold day, you go in, the fans are barely moving, but an
Yeah.
hour later, they're going solid. So again, it's just I know some you can buy the fan speed things that you manually turn up the
Yeah. Yeah.
fans.
That's what mine's.
If that works, it works, doesn't it?
Yeah. Mine. I set mine at a certain speed,
Yeah,
and then I have it come on X amount of time for an hour during the day. It's like four times during the day for an hour.
yeah,
Um. So yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I'm obsessed with getting rid of dust out of the
Yeah.
aviary. One, because of the health of the bird, obviously because it's in my house. I don't want to be traipsing through dust and crap to literally go through
No.
the kitchen.
I did chuckle to myself the other day when you said you'd wash the curtains.
Yeah, so yeah, every couple of weeks they go in the washing machine. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's weird. They attract a lot of dust.
Oh, I bet they do.
God
Yeah.
knows where the dust comes from, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, normally I keep the flights mixed, cocks and hens, old birds and young birds are all mixed. I believe that the young birds learn from the adults by seeing
Yeah.
what they're up to and the social. So obviously I'm paired up now. So there's I don't know 60 birds in breeding cages. So the bottom flight's completely empty. Top flight's got 4 cocks in it, reserves, and about I don't know 20 hens, something like that. The
Yeah.
kind of the backups for if things go wrong, kind of things, or some younger hens that are too young to breed off.
Yeah.
It's got LED lights, all attached to a timer and like a dimmer thing. That's the kind of other end. Seed bin, all my buckets for draining the water system, little trolley for feeding. The two white things near towards the door are humidifiers. So they are set at 70%. So if it drops below 70%, they kick in, and it's like cold steam coming out the top of them.
Right.
And that's in the daytime. They might be, like this week they've been off all the time because the humidity's gone up and it's been
Yeah.
wet. But last week they were literally on all day. But my fans are obviously taking the humidity out, aren't
Yeah.
they? So that's why I turned the fan off at 10 at night. So between 10 at night and 6 in the morning, after 20 past 10, if I went in there at 20 past 10, the humidity in the bedroom would be 75%.
Right.
Um, and I find that that sorted out the hatch.
Yeah.
Having, from the 10 o'clock to the 6 o'clock, having that higher humidity was sorting my issues out.
Oh, right. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that works. So I've stuck with it. I don't know, seed bin full of seed, training cages. When I get visitors out, I try and get a lot of birds out,
Mm.
especially birds I want to show. Get some,
Yeah.
get
It's
some,
good
used to
training,
being
isn't it?
poked, get
Good
some used to
training.
being poked, handled. More importantly, also
Mm.
by you catching it, you you would notice if it had got a cyst on it or a problem. Then you'd be able to sort it,
Yeah.
or not in the case of a cyst. Or if it's got a dirty backside, you're grabbing hold of it, you feel its weight. It's like a health check.
Yeah.
And to the right of the cages, there's a alcohol gel dispenser thing. So when I go in the bird room, because I have chickens outside, we have
Yeah.
what are they, silkies and other things. Um,
Bantams or
yeah, they're these little bantam things with like really
yeah.
feathered legs. And we got them off Paul Stannard's wife actually. They're amazing, absolutely amazing. The hand tame, they used to come in the house until we got the dog. So because of that, whenever I feed them and whatnot, so I'm quite careful not to transport problems
Yeah.
from them. Not that they've got problems, but they're my most likely source of a problem.
Yeah.
Um, I also between nests of chicks, I will do the hand gel.
Yeah.
Um, it's I don't know, it's something I just do.
Yeah, I
Um,
do. I do exactly. I've one of the pump bottles on my
yeah,
trolley
yeah,
and just comes around with me.
yeah. So I do that quite a lot. I mop the floor after visitors have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, since the avian flu thing, because again, my big my biggest risk is like I said, it's either the chickens outside me, and that's been me physically bringing it in, or the dog, or a visitor in it, or
Yeah.
going to a show. That's my, it's my
Yeah.
own,
That's right.
between now and next July, I won't be going to a show, so there's no risk there. But visitors, and you don't want to turn away visitors because you might catch a disease, because that's
Yeah.
going a bit, maybe a bit over the top. But I will mop the floor after they've been, which most people mop the floor before visitors come, don't they? But I do it after.
Yeah.
So I know whatever they've got on the feet, not that that I don't trust the visitors, but it's just done.
Yeah.
Yeah, just another thing done. And
Yeah.
again, most of the floor, it's just a real heavy bleach solution. Normally, I use for the floor. Occasionally, I do F10 things like that, Vercon
Yeah.
S, but mainly it's just bleach. It's cheap, kills everything as long as you
Yeah.
leave it on. And I leave it quite wet as well.
Yeah. You put off. You did you put a photo on today? Didn't you on Facebook of
Ah,
mopped
yeah,
floor?
that was a memory from last year.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
Even that looked
I
quite
leave it
wet.
quite. Yeah, so I leave it so at least it'll stay wet for at least half an hour, say.
Yeah.
It just gives, because the thing is with what people don't kind of get with disinfectants is it needs to have contact.
Yeah.
So, and it needs to have, most disinfectants, all disinfectants have a contact time.
That's right. Yeah.
So you have a dilution rate. So even if you follow the dilution rate recommended, but you put bleach on, it's on for 10 seconds and you wipe it off, you haven't done anything.
No, that's
But if
right.
you leave it on for the 10 minutes or the 20 minutes wet, it's killed whatever you put it on for.
Yeah.
So yeah, disinfectants we do quite a lot of. What else is the next slide? This is a breeding cage. I've
Yeah.
obviously pulled the tray out to show you what's going on in there. Diatom powder underneath all the trays. So there's like a tablespoonful of that. There's diatom powder underneath the newspaper.
Yeah.
Um, there's obviously mixed oyster shell grit and mineral grit in the little brown dish at the back. Next to it is white calcium carbonate powder. Next to that is rock salt on the floor. The seed and the soft food, I give it them every other day. So I feed soft food every other day. So this is, I don't know, this went in say 3 hours before I took the photograph.
Yeah.
And it's like probably a tablespoon, a heat tablespoon and a half. So it's a lot. They get a lot because obviously it's for 2 days.
Yeah.
Um, and by the second day, most of that, not even that 5% of it's gone.
Yeah.
As is most of the seed. Um, newspaper on the floor, quick and easy. Clean them out once a week. Bring a bin in the bin bag inside it. Chuck the whole lot in. Newspaper again. Like the other week, I timed it. I did the whole 32 kgs in 24 minutes the other day. I was
Brilliant.
going for it.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
again, I don't like deep litter
No,
systems.
no.
I feed in my mix. I put 6 boiled eggs in the mix, and I feed a lot of sprouted seed. So
Yeah,
I don't like stuff sat in the bottom of the cage for very long.
no.
I must admit they do eat the boiled egg and the sprouted seed as soon as they see it. They're on it. That's gone on day one anyway. So yeah, again, and then on the cage front on the door, there's one of those mineral blocks that Phil and Vicky Hickley make them and sell them. I think they're the best on the market, so we've been using them for a while. So I use
Yeah,
them. And then in the kind of pot thing is a combination of Fraser's minerals, Murphy's minerals, and Kilpatrick minerals. It's just the same, equal parts of it mixed together.
yeah.
I used to do 3 different pots, but I just think let them
Chuck
pick
it
what.
all in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a with budgies. The less pots you can have, the better, because you got to clean them all the time.
yeah.
So it's easy. So yeah, that's a kind of a typical breeding cage. Apart from that, they don't get anything else when they're breeding.
No,
Um, that's it. Some people put branches in there, whatnot. I put branches in the flights. Um, that's all they need. Getting clean water every day, new food every other day.
yeah.
You know, and I'm just, I guess, confident and relying on what I'm giving them in that soft food and seed and minerals. That's enough to,
Yeah, yeah.
for them to breed, stay healthy, rear chicks. That kind of thing. Again, that's trial and error, isn't it? No one knows exactly what.
No, no, that's it. I think your results speak for itself though, don't they? And I don't, whoever you are, you know,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
if 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 you weren't getting the results, seed and soft food and additives is something you need to look at, you know.
yeah. And also, I think visiting lots of people
Yeah,
is a key for ideas. And I do have we do get quite a lot of visitors, and I say to them, oh, they all say, "What do you feed? Can you write down what you feed them in the software?" And I say, "Yeah, but you're in the middle of a breeding season, and your birds are doing okay.
don't change it.
Don't change now,
Yeah,
because whatever I'm feeding, your birds aren't going to eat that.
no,
So you're
no,
wasting all that money. But more importantly, you're not getting any nutrition into your birds for 2, 3 weeks, four
that's
weeks.
right.
And if the eggs are, if the hen's laying eggs, she needs that nutrition. If the chicks are being reared, they need that nutrition. So I'd try, unless you're having a disaster, I'd stick with whatever you're doing
Yeah,
breeding, and wait till the end of the season. And also, young birds are easier to wean onto any food than
yeah,
any
definitely,
adults.
definitely. And
Um, and
I'm a great one for evaluating the end of each year, and
yeah,
I'll add one thing to my new mix and then I'll evaluate. Did I think it got me anything extra? Do the birds look healthier? Like last year, I got a bit nervous because I tend to be away for quite a long during the day.
yeah,
I was using scrambled egg, but I was getting a little bit nervous, so I've actually switched to egg biscuit.
yeah,
But
okay,
it's
yeah,
taken them quite a while to get to eat that, and
yeah,
I'm in an orange, so I'm just going to give it another year. And if I'm
yeah,
still in and ahhing at the end of the year, then I'll scrap it and go back to the
yeah,
scrambled egg. And I didn't have any problems with the scrambled egg, but I just got a little bit nervous, especially in the flights.
yeah,
And I just found myself cleaning up every time I fed it.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I
so
tend to, so I didn't, I'm feeding tomorrow night. So I've already boiled tonight 6 boiled eggs.
yeah,
I boil them for 7 minutes. So they're quite hard. They're rock
yeah,
hard. 7 minutes. Then I whap them out. Then I get them out of the boil, out of the the pan. Just sit them in a container, whatever dish. Let them go cold, and then they go in the fridge tonight, all day tomorrow. They'll be sat in the fridge, and then I literally get them out to stick them through the blender to mix with the vegetables.
yeah, yeah.
And I've never had any. I've never, knowingly, I've never had a problem with it.
No, no, and I will probably
Yeah,
end up going back to because I
yeah,
know they used to eat the scrambled egg. It
yeah,
was no,
yeah,
and I just
yeah,
made that fresh. It was literally a few seconds in the microwave, make sure it's
yeah,
not wet, and away I'll
yeah,
go.
yeah.
But
I think the secret is whatever you're doing is, you know, we're all obsessed with additives and adding extra different things.
Yeah,
But unless your birds are eating them,
that's right.
it's pointless. So even if you can use sometimes a product like a lot of the veg, if you look at it nutrition wise, doesn't actually have a lot in it for birds
No,
or for
no.
budgies, but they love it.
Yeah,
So I add the veg partly for the nutrient content, but mainly because I know whatever powder I put on it, they're going to eat it. So
exactly. Yeah,
it's like kids. They'll eat chicken nuggets and bloody chips all day long.
yeah,
But if you can, I don't know, put some vegetables mashed over those chicken nuggets or inside the chicken nuggets, you're tricking them into eating them.
yeah,
So it's it's the same principle. You've got whatever you're giving them, they've got to eat it for you to
yeah,
see any benefit.
yeah,
So that's my soft food. They've been they munch away on that.
yeah,
I put the sweet corn goes in frozen.
yeah.
They don't care. Within 10 minutes, it's an hour. It's all gone anyway. They like I don't know why they like the frozen. That's the only thing I do give them frozen. I'm peas occasionally.
I think,
Everything else is cold out.
yeah, I think you're giving them quite a high water content of veg as well, so that that could have effect on your overall water consumption from your bucket as well. You know,
Yeah.
they
I
drink
do
less because
also,
they eat it.
yeah, and also I put quite a lot of oil on in the soft food as well.
Right.
Different. I do. Trying to think of what they are. So there's a Fraser's product, Amiavit.
Yeah, I've seen that
Um,
advertised. Yeah.
yeah, I've used that for about I don't know this season and halfway through last season. I started adding it. It's like a thick, gloopy
Yeah, yeah. It's like an oil, isn't
brown
it?
mess.
Yeah, yeah,
So I had a bit. I had 20 mil of that. I had. They also do a 16 in one oil. So I had a bit of that. Cod liver oil.
yeah.
I'm quite a big believer in cod liver oil actually for its vitamin D3 content.
Yeah, my
Um,
base mix of my soft food already has, as they call it, marine oils
yeah,
added. So,
yeah, same thing. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But again, it's you can add something and then you think, oh wow, they're fertile. I've cracked it.
yeah,
And then the next round they're clear, and then the next round's egg bound. So
yeah,
it takes time to assess. I think assess a feeding program.
yeah, yeah,
Um, because half the time, like I said, you add something and they're not even eating it; they're just scratching it out of the way, and you assume they're eating it.
yeah. That's right.
So yeah, you need to look at. I look, and some birds will just eat certain things.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
won't touch. And I feed a different soft food than Dad does. So a lot of sometimes when his birds come here, they don't really eat my soft food for a while.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I know never to pair any from Dad straight up here because
yeah,
they're going, they're going from I'm in a good nutrition to nothing to kind of getting back on it.
yeah,
And the same, probably the same. I've never asked that, but probably the same going the other way as well.
yeah, yeah.
These things work both ways.
Yeah, you're just sort of conditioning the birds to eat what is in front of them, almost, isn't it? So
Yeah, because they
yeah,
are, they will almost eat anything, but they're not stupid. They won't eat what they don't want to eat.
no. Well, we've been at it nearly an hour and a bit now, Andrew. So, shall we leave it there and perhaps do another one later on?
Yeah, or if you want, I've got a few photographs of birds I'm breeding with now here.
Okay, yeah, we'll
We could
just
just
whiz through
rattle
those.
through them.
Yeah,
There's not many. Yeah, just to show, I don't know, people on Facebook, they see these videos of birds all the
yeah,
time. So,
yeah. But no,
this
it's
is
good.
the key bird. So the best in show winner at Gwynedd, and the Scottish, the grey cock bred this cock, Cinnamon. And then he is now the father and grandfather of all our best cinnamons that we've got.
Yeah,
They come from this bird and its sister. I really like this grey green cock, bit flecked, and he has that
yeah,
about that black feather shaft thing.
yeah, yeah. I was just going to
Um,
say it's exactly the same as what has
his
happened with
two
mine.
his two brothers are identical, but without any flecking at all. Uh,
Wow.
so for them, I've got one here. Dad's got the other one. We treat them as being split flecked,
Right.
so
Yeah.
we wouldn't pair them to a fleck bird.
No,
So
no.
usually they're clean, but the brothers fleck, so there's
Yeah.
fleck in the line, isn't there? And Cinnamon, this is a 2021 Cinnamon cock. I've just paired him up, so his hen's not laid. This is off that really nice. What I said, he's almost had the best show bird we've ever bred so far, the grey green.
Yeah.
We paired him to a really rough cinnamon grey hen, dripping in feather. This came out a grey green cock and a grey green hen.
Wow.
Um, he's a little. I think he's a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
His tail's fine, his wings are fine. They're not crossed, they're not horrible. But he's just a bit of a lump, and he's a bit too feathery, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he actually probably looks better in the picture here than he does most of the time. Most of the time, he looks like he's got a bit of
A
like
parting.
a sense of parting. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
his feathers that long that
Yeah.
he needs more of it to keep it upright.
A lot of that, and I was talking to somebody the other day. Some of that is with the longer feather. We don't, or they didn't think that the feather had as many hooks on it
Maybe,
that
yeah,
hold them together.
yeah,
And all of a sudden the feathers fall apart, and you'll never get them back together.
yeah,
But that, and it's down to the type of feather we use, isn't it?
yeah.
So
So here, this bird, I think he's gone a little bit too far for what I want. So
yeah,
I paired him to a hen that's a lot a lesser hen
yeah,
with a very tight body feather, especially around the legs, and a real dense feather on top,
yeah,
to bring him back a little bit. Lacewing, his main fault is he's got a lot of grey in his body. So
right,
he looks like he's almost got a pied band going across his body of grey.
yeah.
He's obviously covered in soft food because he likes it. He is a pain in the arse because he only goes with lacewings. He won't pair up with anything
All
else apart from
right.
lacewing. And I don't like pairing lacewing to lacewing all the time.
No,
But he's on fertile eggs now with a super lacewing yellow. The first three are fertile. So I'm happy about that because he's one of my best lacewing hens as well.
yeah,
So I'm chuffed about that. But yeah, and here's another cock. I think in fact he's a half brother. He's with a grey green hen. So yeah, we don't like pairing lacewing to lacewing. I mean, very rare. Well, we used to do it, but we find that you shrink them quite quickly.
right, yeah,
And I think it's the same with, well, I think it's almost the same with any mutation, but Lutinos, albinos, I think if you're constantly pairing them to themselves, you might get a better colour and a better markings and that other stuff. But I think your feather quality goes.
yeah.
Um, I don't think there's any harm in one generation or two generations, but I think it's if you
Keep on going.
keep doing
Yeah,
that. Yeah. So when we first got the lace wings, we did it quite a lot to build up the numbers of lace wings. And then we started adding more. The qualities come not by pairing lace wing to lace wing; it's by pairing them to normals, opaline cinnamons, and other
yeah,
birds. And I think the best two lace wings I have here have come out of split cocks and normal hens.
yeah.
So they're not even visually, they weren't even the parents weren't even visual lace wings. Here's another brother to that, the cinnamon grey cock we've been winning best in show with this year. This I'd say is a stock brother. So he's a lot longer and uglier in the feather,
Yeah.
a bit rougher. You'd never get this bird ready for a show. He's not. He's got feather in all the places that you want it and places you don't want it.
Yeah.
He's got too much. Breeds like hell. Him and his brother are absolute brilliant. They breed. This is the brother, but they as soon as they're in breeding condition, they get really aggressive with the hens.
All right.
So as soon as the hen's out of the box, they want to mate them straight away, which you think perfect. But the hens don't come out of the box.
No, they're almost scared to.
Yeah, they're scared to. So like last year, Dad had him the first year, or the back end because he was a late bred. He had him for a round, and he just said, oh, "That cock he's mental. You go in, he attacks you, grabs your arm, he won't let you near the box. When you're feeding him, he grabs you, and he won't let the hens out of the box."
Wow.
So I thought, so Dad, the idea was I'll bring him here, and the change of condition, pairing him up. I thought that will sort him out, but no, he's bonkers. So he's what I had to do last year. I ran him with two hens at the same time. So
Ah,
in
right.
the morning, I've had him in one cage. In the evening, I pulled the divider out, move him across. So it meant that the hen could come off her nest, eat, because although he was feeding them, he was trying to make them in the nest box as well. He was an absolute pain.
Yeah.
And then in the end, I ended up with fertile eggs off both hens. So the second lot, I had to move her eggs because I couldn't have them both rearing at once. I felt without a cockbird kind of present, is he going to, are they going to rear or are they not? And at the moment, he's paired up now and his second egg's coming full. And up to now, until the last 2 days, he hasn't been as mad as he was last year. And now
Maybe
I'm starting to
just,
see this aggressive behaviour. I'm thinking any day now I'm going to have to start
yeah.
take him out for half a day or something because he's just like sex mad. Something in him just goes bonkers.
Yeah.
It sounds great, but yeah,
Oh no, I mean, I've
your
lost
arm every
rounds
bloody
of
night.
eggs. I've lost
Yeah,
rounds of eggs because the cockbird wants to mate a hen in the box,
yeah,
smashed them all,
yeah. So
and
he's a pain because I've literally got to, if I want to check the nest at the eggs, which I do every day, I've got to catch him out, put him in a show cage while I look in the nest box. Otherwise, he's in the nest box. You know what I mean? As soon as I open that nest box
yeah,
door, he's in the hole, straight on there, jumping on all the eggs. So yeah,
yeah,
and I've just got to have that as I've got a note on the cage saying, on a clip saying, get him out.
yeah.
Because there's nothing more frustrating having fertile eggs that have just been trodden on, or
Oh,
not your fault, but it kind of is my fault because I know he does it. So
it's
it is.
devastating, absolutely devastating.
I'd
Yeah,
rather try and get, he's a super bird. I'd rather try and get something off him if I
yeah,
possibly. Um, Lacing, one of my favourite lacewing hens, young ones from 2021. She's down with a spangled cinnamon grey green. Yeah, it goes back to all the cinnamons. I have the last few years put a few spangled cinnamons into them, not because of the colour, just purely, well, one, the cinnamon. I like cinnamons in the lacewings. But visually, they're a lot blowier and denser on the head.
yeah.
This lacewing is a super hen, but you could say she's slightly flat on the head.
Yeah.
Um,
It's an amazing spot she's got as well, isn't it?
she's
It's
got amazing.
almost,
Yeah, she's got amazing. I showed her
yeah.
at, where did I show her? I showed her at Cambridge BS, and she won best opposite sex in show with 6 shadow spots.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, my fault. I was plucking her out like 3 days before the show, and I pulled the wrong bloody spot, and I thought
Yeah.
having that with normal spots looks weird now. So I thought I'll take her anyway.
They're
Uh,
almost like leaves on a tree,
yeah,
aren't they?
yeah, but
Really pointed.
they're massive. But I'd say slightly out of proportion. They're so long but quite
Yeah.
narrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's like anything, isn't it? She's got the nice direction feather, nice body size, nice colour,
Yeah.
super lace wing. But I'm now thinking, how can I get that better? So it's a more blowy,
Yeah.
dense feathered cock on the head, bigger, but with more width of spot, width of feather.
Yeah.
With the viewer trying to get somewhere in between. This is a direct son off a cinnamon grey I showed you a little while ago. He's got a super grey green brother. He bred my best bird last year, or best 5 birds paired to a cinnamon grey hen
Wow.
in my last round of chicks. So I've put the same pair up, and they're on fertile eggs now. So sometimes we'll do it if we get standout birds. We'll pair the same pair up the following year.
Yeah.
We don't do it if you get like one good bird and like 5 average birds.
Yeah.
It's always there's got to be 2, 3, 4. You think,
Yeah.
wow, I want to keep them. Otherwise, in theory, the cock can find a better mate that will get 3 better chicks.
Yeah. That's
But yeah,
right.
he's a lovely bird. I've never shown him. For me, he's a kind of breeding bird. I wouldn't want to show him. Cinnamon Spangle, he split lacewing.
Yeah.
He bred my best lacewing last year paired to a grey green hen. Apart from kind of, I guess, having a bit more blow, he's a little bit more mass. Maybe he's nearly where I want to be.
Yeah.
Um,
You said earlier you wanted to sort of merge the shoulder and the neck, didn't
yeah,
you? And
yeah,
he is much wider in behind the eye and that than some of
yeah,
your others, isn't he?
yeah. So he's heading. He's the same line as the others, isn't it? It's just a
Yeah.
slightly different
Yeah.
variation. Um, Lutino. So we bred off him. So this is last year's chick, Lutino cock. So I paired him, the previous bird, to a lacewing yellow. A load of lacewings out and a Lutino cock. Which now, and then Dad paired him to a lacewing last year and bred another Lutino and some lacewings.
Yeah.
But again, we'll keep if he's in, and I don't know if, to be honest, I don't know if he will be. Dad's got, he's going to pair up about, I don't know, 45, 46 pairs. I doubt he'll be in that top 45.
Wow.
So he'll go as a reserve for later on probably.
Yeah.
So again, it's like it's not, oh yeah, let's go down the Lutino route because we've bred a Lutino. It's if he's not got everything we need, he is a good Lutino. I have no doubt he'd win CCs and whatnot if we could get him to a show. But it's just
Yeah, you've got better, haven't
whether
you?
we,
Yeah.
yeah, so we might play with him. We've bred a couple of good albino cocks this year. We bought a bird off Ian and Scott Ainley. Indirectly bought a spangle that was split albino. I didn't know at the time I bought it.
Yeah.
I whacked it with an oak lean grey hen, and a nice albino hen popped out. And then I contacted Ian, and he said, "Oh, it is split. It might be." He said it might be split albino. And I said, "Well, it is."
Yeah.
Anyway, bred like hell was that bird. Every egg was fertile off that spangle.
Wow.
Um, whatever you paired him to didn't matter. Every egg fertile. Got loads of chicks off him. So I had him here for over a year, or over a full season. Then I moved him on. Yeah, double
Wow.
factor spangle. This is the Cinnamons won the best show this year, and the two brothers had a sister which was a cinnamon spangle grey hen. I paired that to a grey green spangle and bred this double factor. Which it's massive head. He's like a golf ball when he's in condition. He's on third. I'm super chuffed. Dad had him at the end of last season because he was a late bred. He was clear eggs for the last one round clear eggs. So I brought him up here. I've had him here, I don't know, most of the summer.
Yeah.
And I paired him up to in fact, the grey green sister to one of the previous birds. Slightly tighter in the feather, nice wide head, but trying to pull him back a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a fraction of density is what I'm after. But this is, I put this in and it's same bird. He's off one of those previous cinnamons, but again, this is where I'm trying to. You see, I'm trying to get rid of the shoulder, the neck.
Yeah.
I'm filling it in with this kind of fan face that kind of drops down from the sear. The feather goes down and out, and then it creates this kind of fan. So when he's blowing, he's got like perfect vision of the side.
Yeah.
I should really have taken a side profile of him because actually for shape of bird, he's my favourite shaped bird in the aviary, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he, a combination of him, the double factor, the previous spangle, and a grey. Those four birds are kind of. I want to merge them together.
Yeah.
This is my daughter off him. So I paired him to an oak-lean cinnamon grey green hen that won a CC at the club show this year. And bred, I think, 4 cinnamon hens, all like this, nice and clean. So she's, I think, June bred. So she's just getting her spots or got her spots. An oak-lean cinnamon grey green cock, dirty as anything. I put a video of him on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. But like, I don't know, 40% of his head is black flecks.
Yeah.
Worse than the dad. Worse than the dad paired to a clean hen. So, and I think it's come out. It's the oak lean cinnamon that's come out.
Yeah.
And then there was four super hens, nice super wide faced cock, and then there was a lesser hen which I sold the other day because I've got 4 hens that I can move forwards with them. And then this again, I've paired the pair up. This was one round of chicks. We got one chick off them last year. And then I thought I gave it to Dad as a bar head, and then Dad sent me a video of it. And I thought, bloody hell, why did I split that pair up? Because
Oops.
the hen visually, she was nice, but she wasn't like a hen that you think she wasn't a wow hen. She was
No.
in here. She's average.
Yeah.
The cocks are the father's an Oakley cinnamon light green. My oldest bird here is a 2019. And then yeah, we bred this, and I sent it to Dad's as a bar, and it looked all right, but then when he sent me the video, I thought, what the hell? Why did I split them up? So now, yeah, I've got them paired up again. They're just on fertile eggs now.
Oh, that's good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes I guess if I kept this bird here, I would have seen quicker that it was you know what I mean, a nice
Yeah.
thick, good face bird. And I would have then paired the same pair up, or even sister to the hen. Um, I have actually got a better sister to the hen. So I was tempted whether I go better sister to the same cock because he's fertile, but then I thought I'll stick with what I know with the
Yeah.
same hen.
Yeah. A few
Uh,
more birds like that, and you'd be laughing, wouldn't you?
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, he either would drop his tail or he continuously molts straight above the sear.
Yeah.
He's one of them. We have a couple of birds over the years that have done it, and you can never get them like 100% for a show.
No.
And it's kind of whatever you do, whether you have them on their own in a cage because you think they're fighting. Well, yeah, they're just.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's a young bird. He's a very very young bird now. So
Yeah.
hopefully next year he'll get on the show bench. Hopefully, but yeah, I like him. We've
Yeah.
got two, three like normal light greens in the whole cocks in the whole stud, which is tiny, isn't it? Considering that's the wild budgies are all green, aren't they? So
Yeah. Yeah.
we've
I'm.
changed the feather, but we've changed the colour,
Yeah.
haven't we?
Yeah.
Um,
I reckon. I'm probably going to be very high percentage of light greens this year, especially cocks. They are my best cock birds in
yeah,
to a certain degree.
yeah, I'm
So
grey greens and cinnamon greys at the moment. They're in every bloody cage.
yeah,
But I'm not. I don't care as long as,
no,
to be
no,
honest, as long as I walk in and look in a cage and I like the quality of the birds in there, I'm happy.
yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, I had dilutes. I had one of my first CCs was with a dilute, um, and but I paired them up as normals,
mm,
and I haven't produced any more lately.
yeah,
But I'm sure they'll pop out again.
yeah.
You
I
know,
think often like us with the first Lutino hen, when they pop out at random, they're always good birds
yeah,
because they're out of your normals, they're out of your better birds anyway, and they pop out, and that's one of the reasons why I guess we've mixed the lacewings so much with our normals and our cinnamons and our Oakley cinnamons is almost to knock. I don't know the type. Most. It sounds bad. Most albinos, lutinos, and lacewings that you see have got a very short, narrow feather,
yeah,
and they're a step back from, or quite a few step backs from mainstream
mainstream.
showbirds.
Yeah,
But the only way of you're never going to improve it by pairing that to that. You've got to whack in something that's got more feather to
yeah,
then maybe take you slightly more feather in the feather and then do it again.
that's right.
And
Yeah,
you lose that colour and the variety. But then once you've bred two good lace wings, you can then pair them back together to get your colour and your markings.
yeah.
Um,
I think Scott Ainley, you were saying about that the Spangle being split. I think he's produced some amazing albinos just lately, hasn't he?
yeah. He's bred some
Yeah,
absolute. There was a couple on Facebook. Was it 6 months ago?
yeah,
A couple of
yeah,
cockbirds, and they were mind blowing.
yeah,
And you think, and I don't know, but I would bet money that he's not pairing albino to albino to albino
no.
to albino. He'd be whacking quality. I don't know enough
Well,
about it
I
to know
think,
what you pair to him, but I don't know
yeah,
greys probably or oak green greys.
I think, funny enough, a Spangle was mentioned, which follows on from what you
Yeah,
had
yeah,
split.
yeah.
And I'm sure that, yeah, I'm sure that's what he did.
But yeah, they've got super birds, so they'll be whacking
Yeah,
quality in and quality events. It's going to come out, and it has to.
yeah, yeah,
And I
definitely.
think in the Enos, the lace wings, of a variety of recessive pies, it takes longer for the
Yeah,
quality to come out. But once it does, you then got to keep adding the quality to it to kind of
yeah,
fix it. If that makes, I think albinos, lutinos, lace wings can go backwards quicker than normal varieties in a stud.
yeah,
And I think one of the reasons, like now, I remember like when we first started in Budgies years ago, there used to be a lot of studs specialising in albinos or lutein, or mainly lutinos. Actually, they seem more popular nowadays. There's hardly any, and those that are specialising in a say lutino aren't the ones winning the lutino CCs anymore.
No.
They've been taken over by the birds, the breeders that are more, I guess, in it to try and breed a super bird
Yeah.
of any variety, but by breeding, quality to quality to quality, and then they think, oh, actually, I quite like lutinos. I want to improve them. So I
Yeah.
think I think I think it's a lot harder for a specialist breeder any varieties to compete now than say it was 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that's just my personal thought. I'm just thinking that like if you looked at the CC winners, I guess at the club show for the last I don't know 5, 6, 10 years, the CC winners of albinos, lutinos. I doubt many of them are specialists in, and that's the main colour they focus on. If
Yeah.
that's it makes
Yeah.
sense.
They're almost become a byproduct.
Yeah,
But I think what people are realizing is they might be a byproduct, but they've hidden it in the mix for it
yeah,
to come out for that reason.
yeah,
You know, I mean, I had sort of anticipated doing the same with the dilutes,
yeah, yeah,
but it's just not worked out. I mean,
yeah,
it turned out my dilutes were cinnamon dilutes, so they've got to come out at some point because
yeah,
I am quite heavy on the cinnamon, and they're all from the same line. So,
yeah.
um, but
But we weren't looking for another variety when we went to South Africa. We weren't looking for
no,
lacewings, recessive pies, or anything like that. But when we went there, we saw. I went there first 2004, and we couldn't at that time. It's bird flu in South Africa in the ostriches and whatnot, so you couldn't import birds. But there was the best Lutino cock I've ever seen at Reinhardt. So he was split lacewing, absolutely incredible bird.
yeah,
And I was, and Dad was, I was on the phone to Dad in the evening, and he was like, "Oh, is there, what would you buy?" And I was like, "A Lutino split." He was like, "What? Well, why would you want that?" And I was like, "It's as good as the normals." And you know what I mean? And it was,
yeah,
and then I got a lot of pictures at the time of the birds and the lacewings were. I'd never seen a lacewing like them in this country. There
no,
were no, there was a few decent lacewings, but there wasn't any that could compete with what the Malkingtons had. Same. I'd say the same for recessive pies as well. So I was quite tempted to think I'll get some, a couple of pair of recessive pies, a couple of pairs of Lutina. But then I thought, well, we went over there because we knew Malkington had super birds, but he had spot and depth of mask,
yeah,
and that was the feature or features that we went for. So obviously, if you're buying a Lutino, you've got to have good eyesight to see. You can see a spot, a mask on
yeah,
a
yeah,
Lutino,
yeah,
um, but you've got to be looking harder. So yeah, our first trip was about getting that feature we wanted, but without compromising on width of head and directional feathering and size. So it was normal birds,
yeah.
spangled, hides, whatever, oak cinnamons. The colour didn't matter, but we didn't bring back any lace wings until 2012, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that was because we had a conversation. We said there's no lace wings in this country like that. They're super. We compare them to each other, and then the lacewing buzz in this country has gone from strength to strength, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's now at shows there are actually these classes with lacewings in,
Yeah.
which when we first got the lacewings, we were the only one showing them. There was
Wow.
hardly anyone showing them. Now, the club show there was quite a few there.
Yeah.
The quality is getting better. We're selling on quite a lot of birds that we don't like. The ones that are not what we want to breed off. They've gone to other breeders who are then taking them forwards in their way, and it's
It's
now you go
great.
on Facebook, and there was a couple of outstanding lacewings on Facebook the other day.
Yeah.
Uh, and like you said about Ian and Scott Ainsley, they had a stunning lacewing hen at the club show. And I think it was an adult. It wasn't in condition. It was a bit penny on the head. Popped out of the enos or whatnot. So
Yeah.
the lacewings are coming.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's right.
but yeah, I don't think the varieties I don't know, a bar. You know, back in the day, you know, if you said to people, "Oh, I just breed lacewings," people look at you and think you're never going to win more than your class or a CC if you're lucky. Whereas
Yeah,
now,
that's right.
you know, I think there's a different. Same with recessive pieds. You know, there's some super ones out and about in the country now.
Yeah,
So I think these what were lesser or harder varieties, recessives, whatever you want to call them, and now the big breeders are mixing them in with the normal
yeah,
lines, and these super birds are popping out willing. Whether it's luck, skill, God knows, but you know,
yeah,
there's some super. You know, Alan and Gina Adams had some absolutely stunning recessive pieds out last season.
yeah.
And most people be thinking if that was a normal in the aviary, that would, do you know what I mean?
They've
That would
they've
be
done
worth
very
having.
they've
You
done a
know?
similar thing with the crests as well,
Yeah,
haven't they?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they've put their
yeah,
best normals into the crest,
yeah,
and that's paid dividends because
yeah.
you won't see crests with the size they've got out on the show
No,
bench very
no,
often. You
no. And
know,
it's not a one generation thing. They're not just
no,
whacking a good bird in. It's a year after year
yeah,
after year, constant. You know,
that's right.
it's like building a study. It's you can't, you know, you can go out tomorrow and buy, if you could buy the best 20 birds in the world, but in 5 years' time you won't have the best of the birds in the world.
No,
You know,
no,
you've got to have this. You know, there's skill. There's a lot of luck, genetics.
yeah,
You know, there's a lot of things going into breeding budgets. It's not.
definitely.
I know there's a lot of money in the hobby, but ultimately, I think the breeders that are at the top haven't got there by spending vast sums of money every year.
No,
You know, they will go.
no,
They will. I have no doubt they will go out and buy a super bird or a good bird, well-bred bird for you know a lot of money.
yeah,
But they're not. You know, they're not going abroad every weekend on.
no. And they have a plan for that bird as well. It's not
Yeah,
just I'm
yeah,
going to go and buy a really
yeah,
expensive bird, and
yeah,
I expect it to breed winners.
yeah,
They they've done the background work. They'll know the line of birds they're buying from. They'll probably
yeah,
know the family from the breeder because they've bought before or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, I got lucky with a swap with David Wone. He had one of the dilute cocks that I bred, and that actually bred his best clear wing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, he doesn't specialize in any of it, but he's bred some of the best
Mm,
there are, you know,
yeah,
and I got really lucky because we did a bit of a swap and I got normals for my dilutes and they moved my birds on
yeah,
probably 2 years worth in one breeding season,
mm,
you know.
yeah.
But because, you know, it was mutually beneficial to us both. No money change hand. Great, you know.
Yeah, but also like if you've done well out of it, Dave's done well out of it.
Yeah,
You know the lines click, don't you?
that's
So you
it.
can, you know, if you're having a bad year, you can go back to Dave or vice versa and get that same family back.
That's right.
And that, you know, a lot of it, a lot of the hobby is, you know, there's more to life than buying, selling budgies.
Oh,
A lot of it
definitely.
is exchanging birds, giving away birds.
That's right.
You know, I gave away the father of the double factor spangle to a friend of mine. I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Um, he's super bird, but I don't know what he just one day just decided on one wing I'm going to drop my wing, or you know the last four or
Yeah.
five feathers. No reason for it, and I thought, you little shit, I can't show you anymore because he's probably the best spangle marking wise and head wise we've ever bred.
Yeah.
And he was I think he was a 2018 bird, and I thought you're getting on a bit. I just bred off him in June. He had his last round of chicks here, and he dropped his wing, and I thought, we can't show you anymore. And almost got frustrating looking at him. But so
Yeah.
I thought, well, I know someone else. I know someone who will have him.
Yeah.
And you know, and hopefully he'll do well out of it. And
Yeah.
then you know, and if I think, oh shit, that spangle line's disappearing, or
Pull
that line,
back.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
say that spangle line because all our lines are kind of mixed colours. I could
Yeah.
think. I know who had my, you know, the best spangle. He went to him. If he's bred off that, I could get a son or a daughter or a grandson, and you know, go again.
Yeah. That's right.
Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, it is about building kind of relationships and
Definitely.
visiting, getting
Definitely.
ideas. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, seeing, you know, trying to get people to show is kind of a thing I'd quite like to do. I'd love to see
Yeah.
some of these other super studs out of the shows.
Yeah.
I know there's various reasons why people show, don't show. You know, I like this year I've been really lazy. I've showed it 3 shows.
Yeah.
One show was literally less than a 10-minute drive down the road. One show was an hour, I don't know, Cambridge, and then there was a club show. I took some birds, Dad took some birds there. Um, so yeah, but I think it's one of these hobbies that we all. It's easy to criticise numbers at a show,
Yeah.
but the only way of changing that is for you to show, me to show, them to show, encourage an extra bird, take an extra bird, whatever. It's the only
That's
way of
right.
doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll keep going and keep the shows.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will.
as long as a top quality bird wins the show,
Yeah.
I don't really care whether there's 1,000 birds there or 20. I just want to see a super bird win a show in good
Yeah.
condition. Whether that's one of our birds, someone else's birds,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Ultimately, if there's 20 super birds there, it's better than looking at 1,000 lesser birds, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know,
That's right. That's
so
right.
it's I know it is a numbers game, but ultimately it's a quality besting show and opposite sex and whatever you're looking at, isn't it? And
Yeah.
younger,
Yeah.
um, you know,
Yeah, I think we just need to adapt, and I think the UKBC are looking at that with different schedules, and we haven't got the finished product. Far from it. We
no,
will tweak things as we go along, but bird flu put pay to us this year, but we're going to come back next year with a vengeance, hopefully.
yeah,
Um,
I
you
think
know,
not the whole hobby. Look, it's an amazing hobby, and I've been in it since I don't know, I was like 14 or something.
yeah,
And hopefully I'll be in it for another, I don't know, until I cark it. But you know, we need to get more people involved. We need younger people involved. How the hell do we do that? It's mobile
yeah,
phones and it's social media.
that's right.
It's
Yeah,
all this stuff that we don't really like in terms of when you see kids on the train or when it's on the phone. But it's the only way they're going to
yeah,
notice you.
that's right.
Um, so I don't know. We need to probably look as a hobby at the show season. Is it too long? Are there too many shows?
Yeah,
Is it the right time of year? I don't know, and I don't know the answers.
no.
Um,
Because the
but
trouble is, you'll make one person happy and two unhappy, and
yeah,
then you
yeah,
do something, you get it the other way round. So
yeah,
it
because
really is difficult.
I paired up I don't know 2 weeks ago, something like that, maybe longer. And I've been saying to Dad, I was like, my birds are bouncing. Get your bloody birds down. Get paired. And he's like, my birds aren't fit. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
don't get them down. Keep
yeah,
hanging. But so it does, and he's like, they're not ready.
no,
But mine are bouncing. We made this decision ages ago. Whenever the stud's bouncing, or the better birds in the stud are bouncing, we'll pair up.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Because it's those ones that, like you said earlier, you've got to get birds off of them, and to pair them up
those,
just because you're ready, you're on a loser. You've got to
yeah,
catch them right. Even I
yeah,
found that even at the start, I might only have two pairs up,
yeah,
and then a week later I've got another two pairs up, and so on and so forth. And it's because I've already sort of set, I think I'll put you two together. Right, the hen's not quite ready. The cockbird will keep for another week or so,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then I'll see the hen interact with a branch, chewing it or whatever. And I go, right, bang, bang, in you go. But I don't these days just sit and pair 20 pairs up.
No, I
No.
think once you pair a few birds up in the aviary, the other birds come into condition
Yeah.
because they think breeding time, something clicks,
Yeah.
they want to start breeding. So I think sometimes if you've got a lot of birds or not even a lot of birds, I don't really like to pair up say less than say 6 or 8 pairs at once.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the only reason is because if I have problems with a hen not feeding a chick or something
You
like
got
that,
somewhere to move it,
got
haven't
somewhere to
you?
put it.
Yeah.
So it's just law of averages, really. At the
Yeah.
moment, I've got 30 paired up, and I paired them all up within a week of each other.
Yeah.
And that's unusual. Normally, I'd pair up over a period of a longer time. Um, but so at the moment, in theory, in 2 weeks' time, whenever the young chicks start hatching, I should have a lot of options to move them. But
Yeah.
as the season gets on, you end up changing a few pairs one week, don't you? And then you end up with nowhere to put chicks. Even with me
Yeah.
with 30 cages, I end up with nowhere to put something. So
Yeah.
you've got to hope nature kind of sorts itself
It sort
out.
itself out. Yeah.
So yeah, there's no ideal time to breed. I think you've just got to pair
Yeah.
up when your birds are fit,
Yeah. That's right.
get them as healthy as you can. If your birds are fit during the show season and your best birds, get them to a show. You know,
Yeah.
you take them out of the show, out of the breeding cage. If they're fit, they're going to be fine for the day. It's not an issue.
No.
Um,
Right.
but
Well, we've been going a while, mate. We've
yeah,
lost
okay.
ourselves in time.
Oh yeah,
So
we have been going a while.
yeah.
Lights
So
out nearly as well. I need to go in there again.
yeah. No, that is brilliant. Brilliant talk as always, mate. And thank you so much. And we will probably do something else next year and catch up with you.
Yeah, we'll look at like the thing I was supposed to do, that pairing type thing.
Yeah.
We'll look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll look at once I get proper time to get pictures of the hens. We'll look at that.
Yeah. No problem. All right. Well, thank you very much, mate. Go easy.
Brilliant.
See
Thank
you
you very much,
soon.
Neil.
Thanks,
See you
Em.
soon.
Bye.